If you're a beginner music producer, you are intermediate, if you're advanced. It's a lot of great information on there. So make sure that once this video is over, you check the video description and you go click on that link and sign up, because it's a great free video course, 6-part video course that I will send to you via email over 6 days. So that's that. That's a little administrative stuff. By the way, for those of y'all that are watching on IG, thank you once again. If you're watching this and you haven't already done so, make sure that you go to my website after the stream is over, and there will be a link in my video or a link in my bio on IG for you to go sign up for that free 6-part video course for music producers and music creators. All right. That being said, thank you once again for joining me, folks. I appreciate y'all. Some of y'all on YouTube may have saw me earlier fumbling with some other software trying to get the live stream together to share with you guys some BeatMaker 3 action. And you may have seen that. I apologize for the fumbling that was going on. I was using a different software because I was trying to get the multi-screen stuff going, and it was acting a little bit finicky, lots of drop frames and stuff like that. But I appreciate y'all hanging out with me nonetheless. Tonight, we're going to be talking about BeatMaker 3, going to be talking about a lot of things, actually. I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about tonight. So, yeah, man, before we start, where's everybody from, man? Everybody that's in here on YouTube, everybody that's in here on IG, where are y'all from, man? Let me know. What's good? How y'all doing, man? Where y'all from? Where y'all at? What's the deal? Okay. What's good with y'all, man? Austin, Texas, MC Righteous. That's what's up. T. James Dean, Ontario, Canada. What's up, bro? What's up? J. Troy Bass, ATL. Man, homie, I saw you the other day, J. Troy Bass, going insane on Block's Wave, brother. You was going bananas with it. I was like, yo, you are killing it. Check, if y'all ain't following J. Troy Bass, check this brother out, man. Woo! Killing it. Let's see, Robert Winand, Jakarta, Indonesia. That's what's up. Wow, man, Indonesia? I've never been to Indonesia. I gotta go though. Let's see, push button producer. What's good, homie? Dallas, Texas. That's what's up. Butterfly Effect 2017. San Diego in the house. That's what's up, man. I see BeatMaker is the squad up in here, man. What's good with you? BeatMaker is the squad. What's happening? Let's go back to the, let's see. YouTube. Okay, we got DJ Royalty, NYC. What up? Jay Simmons, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. What up? Filthy Rich 1 from Toronto. What up? The iPad producer from Maryland. What up? BeatMaker is the squad, NYC. What up? All right, CC Funk from Detroit. Uh-oh, he got the Yamaha Reface DX. Okay, what's up? Doobie Sonics, what's good with you, bro? Clinton Robinson, hello. Where you from, Clinton Robinson? What's up? Yeah, man. All right, so we getting it in tonight, man. Couple things I want to talk about. Let me know if you can't hear me, by the way, especially on YouTube. If you can't hear me, if you can't hear what's going on, please let me know. Drop me a line. If it sounds cool, you know, we'll keep it going. But otherwise, let's go, man. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to talk a bit about the push button. I'm going to talk a bit about the BeatMaker 3, man. Spent my first day. Antrisk, what's going on? I see you in here, Antrisk. Yeah, I used to work with Antrisk, man. Anyhow, man, BeatMaker 3. So yesterday was the big day, right? I don't know if y'all were excited like I was, but yesterday I was super excited. I was like, yeah, July 15th, BeatMaker 3. So I get up, I'm texting with my homeboy from MSX Audio, MSX2 Audio. my dude, he was telling me like, yo, like, is it available? Is it available? Is it up yet? And I was like, let me check. So I check in the App Store, and lo and behold, it's nowhere to be found. And I'm like, what's up? It's July 15th. I went to bed like, okay, about to get this in the morning. I'm going to get a little session in the morning, start learning it. No can do. Was not happening. So basically spent most of the day looking for the app in the App Store. Finally got some action later on around 5. Look, BeatMaker is the squad said he was up at 3 a.m. looking for this. Was nowhere to be found. Man, it was crazy. So, yeah, finally got it around 5, but by then I had to do other stuff. I had to keep it pushing, man. So, like, I got it, I downloaded it, but I had to dip. So I dipped out, handled my business, did some other stuff. Spent only a little bit of time with it when I got home last night, and spent maybe an hour and some change today. So what are my thoughts about it? First day in, only a couple hours in. Look, man, it's dope. It's dope. It's a lot different from BeatMaker 2. I'm gonna tell you that off top. So if you got it already, and if you were a BeatMaker 2 user, you'll notice that there's a whole lot of stuff that's different about it. Like the layout's different, a lot of the usability paradigms are different. So, a lot of the stuff that you may have been able to do, or you may have got accustomed to doing, I should say, in BeatMaker 2, you're going to have to figure out like some different ways of doing it in some cases on BeatMaker 3. I definitely enjoy the app, but it's a learning curve. It's definitely not something that I could just jump right into. Now, there are some things that I felt like were similar to other stuff that I use. Like this app, BeatMaker 3, is very much, I would say, like Machine in some ways. It's very much like, in a lot of ways. I won't just say some ways. In a lot of ways. The main thing that I feel like they changed was the way that the pads work and the way that the sampler works. So everything in BeatMaker 3 kind of is working like Machine in the sense that you have a pad, you have 16 pads in a 16 pad layout, but each pad is a full-on sampler. It's a full-on keyboard sampler that is spread out across the keys. So that's one thing. It also has a new scene and pattern mode, which is also very much like Machine. What else? A lot of the new ways of working with external apps, very much going into this whole VST paradigm. So in a lot of ways, this app reminds me like Machine. It makes me feel like it's the real Machine, but for iOS. Because, iMachine is definitely like a more scaled down version. It's more of a sketch pad. This thing right here is like Ableton plus Machine plus a couple other things going on in there. This joint, it has real-time time stretch in it, something that Machine Desktop doesn't have right now. It's something that the MPC X and some of the other products right now that are coming out have been promising. So BeatMaker 3 has this functionality built into it. It has audio tracks. I mean, goodness, but BeatMaker already had audio tracks since BeatMaker 2. But this has audio tracks. But the audio tracks in BeatMaker 3 now support real-time time stretch as well. So it's like, golly, this is all on the iPad, iOS. And it's amazing, actually. It's amazing. But like I said, there's a learning curve because anytime you put that many features into something, there's always going to be a lot to learn as far as getting the workflow together. And I definitely feel like I'm working a lot slower because it's even though it's like Machine, all the menus and things are not like Machine. So you got to figure out where stuff is. You got to get your sounds in there and all that. That's another thing. Earlier today, I was doing a live stream. Some of y'all may have saw me fumbling with it. Some of y'all may have saw it buffering a lot. I apologize for that, but I was going through the factory content. That's another thing that is different in BeatMaker 3 from BeatMaker 2 is the factory content. Now, the factory content on BeatMaker 2, I felt like was much more like a workstation. It had all categories of sound. You had, guitars, bass, flutes, horns, strings, pianos. You had a lot of drum sets and all this sort of stuff. Okay. BeatMaker 3 only has a couple of sounds, okay? It only has a few sounds in it, the factory content at least, which was a little bit disappointing, to be honest with you, because, as a sketchpad, or when I use iOS, sometimes I use it as a sketchpad, sometimes I use it as the full thing. But for me, as a sketchpad, having sounds in there is a value. It's something that you can just go into really quickly and start writing with. And I feel like BeatMaker 3 lost that paradigm a little bit. It has matured in a way into being more like how the MPC was when the MPC 2000 and 3000 and all that first came out, where you didn't really have any sounds. It was more, hey, I'm a sampler. Put stuff in here and get to work. BeatMaker 3 has more of that paradigm. Now, it has a couple of sounds in there, but it wasn't anything where I felt like this is all I need to actually write music. So, it led me more down the path of, okay, I got to start getting my sounds in there. So I started messing with Dropbox. It has a cool Dropbox import. I was able to get my sounds. I pulled my sounds from my computer, threw them in the Dropbox, put them in my iPad, and was able to start getting busy with my sounds in it. So that's cool. I'm still having some issues with working with external apps a little bit. It seems a little bit finicky in terms of how it works, because like you load up an inter-app audio application and then it'll tell you something like couldn't load app. So then you got to load the app in standalone, in the background, so that BeatMaker could actually see it and you can start working with it. I found that to be the case with a lot of the what is it, the AU3 or Audio Units 3 compatible plugins. I was using like Chord Gadget and a couple other things. And when I would load it up, basically it would be like, okay, well, I can't load it up like this. So that was a little bit finicky. I wasn't feeling that right now. So you always got to load the apps first, just like BeatMaker is a squad is saying. Always load the app first. AU3 works perfectly fine, but like any type of inter-app audio stuff, you got to load the app first. It's not going to happen any other way. So that was a little finicky for me, but like I said, it's a lot of like workflow stuff that I'm getting used to in here. Another thing that was kind of different was the MIDI routing. Now, MIDI routing has changed a lot in BeatMaker 3. I would say for the good in some cases, but not good in some other areas. So, for example, what I used to like about BeatMaker 2 was that I could load up basically I could just load up like a blank or an empty pad set, or empty keyboard sampler, right? And then I can use that as just a canvas to send out MIDI to other devices and other software. And BeatMaker 3 is not really working like that. You have to load a sample or a VST or some inter-app audio thing first before you can get access to the pads and start routing MIDI, which I don't like, because BeatMaker 2, I could just load up that blank template and start routing MIDI and get it to wherever I want. Sometimes I will route MIDI to like hardware and stuff and MIDI sequence hardware, and I haven't figured out if I can MIDI sequence hardware with this BeatMaker 3 app, because it's not working exactly the same. If anybody knows, I'm all ears, man. Please let me know. But I can't figure that out right now. So what else? Oh, back on the MIDI. So the other thing about the MIDI that is interesting for me is that it allows you to, it has some auto-learn features, which are kind of interesting. You hit the auto-learn button, and then you start hitting pads, and it will start to basically assign the pads on the BeatMaker software to your hardware controller, which is kind of cool. I thought that was pretty smart. And then you could save that as a template. It's like a focus action or whatever. You can save that. But what I don't like is that you need to, in order for that to actually work optimally, you would need to be using separate controllers, from what I found at least. If I may be wrong, but when I was trying it earlier today, and I have this Korg Nano key, and basically I mapped the first 8 pads to the first 8 pads in BeatMaker. And as I started to try to use them in the bank or whatever, I was having some issues because the drums would work, but then if I went to, say, a keyboard, then it would start to do some really funny things. Like I would start to play different octaves and it would send different MIDI messages that weren't correct. It was no longer playing chromatically. So it got kind of weird. So I'm like, well, that's not a good look, because then that means I have to have one controller that's dedicated for the keyboard and then another controller that's dedicated for pads if I want that kind of functionality. And if you're using something that has both pads and keyboard on it, like an MPK49 or this controller or something like that, it can get kind of finicky. So that was another thing where I was like, okay, that needs to get worked out, because right now I'm not feeling like I want to have to keep going and changing or loading up focus actions and doing all that stuff every time I want to use a different instrument. So definitely something to consider there. Otherwise, man, I mean, I still got a lot to learn about it. It has a lot of interesting effects routing capabilities now. Like you have effects on different layers for the samples and sounds, which is something that you couldn't do before. It's got some new effects in there, like some cool stuff actually. Like, you can do these like stutter effects with a slicer and stuff in there. Some really dope stuff, man. I'm enjoying it. Like I said, it's got its pros and cons. It's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. I think when you learn stuff and you understand how to actually work with it, then you get a good workflow and then you can start being productive with it. Right now, I'm not at the point where I can be productive with it. It's not like second nature to me. I have a workflow established with BeatMaker 2, which allows me to just get in and start working and not have to really think about it too much. But it takes time. So I'm gonna be working with it, man. And I think it's fun. It's dope to have all these capabilities on iOS. I do know that when I was playing with the real-time time stretch, I'm on an iPad 4 mini. Once you start dealing with real-time time stretch, it can get a little bit more CPU intensive now. So iPad Pro guys, think about it. If you're gonna go this route, iPad Pro might be the move. iPad Pro will give you a bit more power. I started struggling when I was using the real-time time stretch. Personally, I'm not sure if I'm going to give up BeatMaker 2 completely at the moment. Because I remember even like with Machine, there's still guys that use Machine 1.8 because there's certain features in Machine 1.8 that don't exist in 2. And, it kind of happens like that. Sometimes when a software upgrades and then, you get all these new features, but then you lose some of the old workflow in order to move forward and have access to new creative possibilities. The great thing is about this though, I can have both on my system. So I kind of know what it is. Like if I want to just start working right now and just start moving, then I'm gonna use 2. When I'm, feeling a little bit more experimental and starting to like I'm basically going to take my time and just experiment with BeatMaker 3 until I get something that feels like a solid workflow. And then once I feel really comfortable, then I'll go all in. But I don't feel at the moment I'm going to go all the way in on BeatMaker 3 and just get rid of 2. Like 2 is not going anywhere for me. 2 still has some great workflow paradigms. It has some great flexibility in the way I like to work and the way that I think about using software and MIDI equipment in general. So, that's what it is with that, man. So I'm gonna keep y'all posted. I gotta figure out this streaming thing. I tried it earlier today on this other software. It was not working because I was sharing the iPad screen and all this other stuff, and it got real complicated. But we'll figure that out as well, and I'll continue to work that out so we can do some. We can get it in a little bit more. And as I learn stuff, I will share. That's the thing. I want to share with y'all. So that's the BeatMaker 3 first day. Enjoying it. It's fun. So this next thing I want to talk about. who's with the smoke? You with the smoke? Are you with the smoke? Look, I don't know if y'all been paying attention on here. Boy, on IG especially. Timbaland versus Swizz Beatz, y'all, is going down. It's going down. Remember I talked about a couple months ago that this Just Blaze versus Swizz? And people did not expect Just Blaze to have problems with Swizz. But Swizz, you know, when we talk about battle music, Swizz is a different animal. It's not, see, Swizz, I think he makes this style of music that actually works perfectly for battle. So I don't think it's cut and dry, Timbaland versus Swizz. I love Timbaland. Timbaland is an innovator. He's an incredible producer. He's extremely creative. But this is a battle. This is not, if we do catalog, it's a different thing. Timbaland is definitely much more, I would say more versatile in terms of his catalog. But this is a battle, y'all. This is not a catalog thing. And if they do all new beats and they battling, I don't know, man. I don't think it's cut and dry. I don't think it's like, oh, Timbaland got it. No. Pay attention, because, I mean, right now, Swizz is coming with some stuff where it's like, it's making you get the scrunched up face, like, ugh, like he's going in, man. And Timbaland is a little bit more subdued right now, I would say. So pay attention. Let's see how this goes down. But I love the fact that they're doing this. I love the fact that they are uplifting the culture, man. This is dope for the culture. And I think it means a lot when these guys are doing stuff like this and just being more transparent and open to sharing. Because that's important, man. I think it humanizes them in a way. It humanizes them because now you can kind of see, like, yeah, not everything that each of them does is like a hit, first of all. That's for sure. Like, you can hear some of this stuff, it's like, this is cool, but that's not a hit. It's not like Timbaland is like inhuman. You know what I'm saying? Like, Timbaland makes okay beats and he makes crazy beats, just like the rest of us are capable of doing. So I think it's really interesting to see this level of transparency, because I know a lot of people in their position wouldn't do that kind of thing, where they kind of like are sharing stuff that is not a finished record or whatever. They, you know, Swizz is going downstairs, or he said he went in 10 minutes and made a beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's sharing stuff that's fresh off the hot plate. You know what I'm saying? He's really getting it. So, I mean, I love that they're sharing this and being that open, and also giving you a kind of an idea of their creative workflow. But I think it's going to be a great battle. I'm looking forward to it. I hope that they get into the same room and actually battle like they did with Just Blaze and Swizz, because this whole IG thing is cool, but I think the energy got to be right. They got to come together and really get it in, man. I think that'll change the game. And like I said, it's not going to be like, it's definitely not going to be a landslide, because it's not a landslide right now. Swizz is already coming with some stuff, man. And, you know, in the past, I wasn't the biggest Swizz Beatz fan. Like, he had joints, like a couple joints, but I wasn't like the biggest Swizz Beatz fan. But I think, you know, with time and, you know, as I've been able to analyze what he does and what his lane really is and understand his music more, I've definitely come to respect what he does a lot more. And I definitely don't criticize him. I think he has a style, he has his own lane, and he's definitely got an ear for what's going to move people. So I think it's going to be dope. So yeah, I also want to talk a bit about branding for music producers. So I'm seeing a lot of stuff going on the internet still, and I want to just talk about it. It's kind of related to the whole, like, you know, social media thing, but it's a little bit deeper than that. I see some people, like some producers, are like really hungry for attention, and the way that they try to go about getting the attention is actually in my view, the wrong way to do it. And what I mean by that is, if you find yourself constantly begging for the attention of somebody that is established to promote you somehow, you're missing the opportunity to actually build something that is not reliant on a cosign. And it's important that you don't rely on a cosign, because people are finicky. And if you don't build your own relationships with your fans, the cosign that you're getting and the attention that you get from a cosign may be fleeting. It may not last. It may not be something that allows you to get to your next project and put something out. You may have gotten attention, like say something, you get somebody to retweet something because you shouted them out and you tagged them or whatever. You may get the attention the first time, but after that, if you haven't really built the relationship with the fan, with the people that are responding to that retweet or whatever, that may not help you overall. It may not give you the boost that you need. Stop trying to ride off of people's coattails, man. People that are established. Don't do that. Like, build your own relationships with the people that enjoy your music, that enjoy what you do, and keep pushing that. And it's cool if you want to like tag people, but be cautious about that. Be cautious from the sense that if you're tagging somebody and they see you doing that too often, it comes off a certain way. It comes off like you're not trying to be your own man. So it's very important that you realize that, and just be respectful of people, because I think just because you tag somebody and say like, hey, like check me out and do all this stuff, they don't have to look at you. They may not even care about what you're doing. And I think you start to look desperate on social media after a while, because people that do follow you can see that as well. And it's like, if you keep saying, hey, look at me, but you're tagging some major person, then the people that really rock with you can see that too and be like, hey, what's going on? There's a way to do that. I think if you're talking business, like when Twitter first started, Twitter was amazing, because I used to be able to like go and like talk to like some heavy hitters, like some people, like some real established people in the industry. And this was like, 10 years ago when I first started getting on Twitter, and I used to be able to talk to folks. I used to be having conversations, but I was having real conversations with them. I wasn't just tagging them and saying, hey, look at this thing that I'm doing. It was like we were talking, we were chopping it up. Business was going down. We were like actually conducting business. So it's a difference. There's a difference between just tagging somebody and say, hey, look at my beats, check me out. Or, having something to offer to the person that you're tagging so that they can actually engage with you. And then it looks like, you look professional. You look like you're official, because otherwise you look like a groupie, and you don't want to look like a groupie. Like, that's not a good look. So let's see, I'm buffering on YouTube for whatever reason. Hold on one second, guys. Hold on one second. My YouTube stream is kind of tripping. Sorry about this. I don't know what's going on with the YouTube stream, but hopefully it comes back. So anyhow, build your own brand, man, and don't be a groupie. All right, don't be a groupie. Just I get it. You want attention. Everybody wants attention. I just watched this movie last night that kind of was related to this. It's called Nerve. Nerve is on. I think it was on Netflix. I think it was on Netflix. It was interesting though, because it was about social media, and basically it was like this new like dark web, dark internet type of situation where it was like a social media thing, and people had followers and people were watching live what you're doing live. And the people that were watching would type in and give you dares. They would dare you to do certain things. And then, the people, basically you have players and you have watchers. The people that were watchers would just basically have their phone and, be out watching the people that were actually playing. And the folks that would play would actually do the dares. So what was interesting about it was that the players got very driven by the attention. It was all about the followers and how many people were, engaged with the stuff and all that. So the watchers would dare, but they would also pay money on the success or the successful completion of a dare. So it meant that there was this whole thing where it was money driven, but it was also like exposure and just like attention driven for the player. And it got really interesting. And you know, I don't want to give up the movie too much, but it got to a point where folks was just doing whatever just for attention. And that's not where you want to be when you're dealing with the internet. You don't want to be in a place where you're just doing whatever is going to give you attention, and you're doing whatever whatever's going to make some money somehow, or supposedly make you some money. You want to have some sense of boundaries with what you're doing online, but also you want to make sure that you're not doing everything just for like likes and all this stuff, man. It gets really complicated, and you can lose your way. So don't lose your way online. I understand you're trying to brand yourself, you're trying to promote yourself and what you do, but promote yourself in a way that actually benefits you. And I feel like a lot of people don't promote themselves in the places where they can actually be found. Instagram, you can be found. It's okay. Twitter, you can be found a bit better because of the way it indexes hashtags and like just words and stuff that you're saying. Like people can find what you're talking about at any given point on Twitter. Search engine optimization for your website helps you to get found on certain things that you're an authority on. That's helpful. But a lot of people sleep on this other thing that I'm going to mention right now. And if you're trying to get opportunities as a professional, every producer needs to have a fully completed LinkedIn page. If you don't have a fully filled out LinkedIn page showing your accomplishments, your skills, your abilities, the projects you've worked on, like it's a resume, guys. It indexes. People can find you. People that are looking for talented people out there can find you if you're on LinkedIn and you have your stuff together, okay? So make sure you have your stuff together. Make sure that what you are able to do is fully described, is fully listed, it's fully represented well on your LinkedIn page, all your things that you're doing, all your projects. Make sure that's there. Don't just focus on IG. Don't just focus on SoundCloud. SoundCloud may not be here, guys. We'll see, Chance the Rapper supposedly is going to save SoundCloud, but we'll see. But get your LinkedIn together too. That it indexes, guys. Make sure that you're focusing your attention on your branding on the places where you can be found, and not just tagging people just trying to get a look. All right. So that's what I wanted to talk about tonight, guys. I'm going to open this up for the next 30 minutes for Q&A. Let's get it in, man. If y'all got questions, let me know. I'm going to go to these rooms. I got the chat room in here on YouTube. Got my folks on IG. Jazzy Management, I see you in here, homie. What's good with you, Jazzy Management? Jazzy D, what's happening with you? That's the OG, man, Jazzy D. West Coast legend, man. Gangsta Granny. Y'all know Gangsta Granny from like the Dub C records and stuff? What's going on? He did all the little voices and stuff. Yeah, man. Jazzy D. Gangsta Granny. Yes. Okay. So let me see. What's going on in there? Let's see. The movie is available on Netflix, and it was a cool movie. Yeah, it's interesting. It wasn't like the most amazing movie ever. You know what I'm saying? It was interesting from the perspective that it had some real lessons about the dangers of social media and the drive for getting attention and all that stuff. Like it definitely is an eye opener. That one, and if you haven't looked at like Black Mirrors, that's another one that is like very thoughtful in terms of like the ramifications of technology. So if you haven't checked that out, check Black Mirrors out too. Black Mirror out is Black Mirror's tight, man. Like that one, I would say that's an amazing series, actually. I can't wait till they come out with the next one. Let's see here. Defiant Ones was dope. I haven't checked out Defiant Ones yet. Actually, I just got finished checking out the Can't Stop, Won't Stop, which is kind of interesting as well. That's the Bad Boy movie, or Bad Boy documentary. It was pretty interesting as well. I want to check out the Defiant Ones. I'm gonna check that out soon. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of good media out right now, and I think it's cool because it gives you some insight so that you kind of see how stuff really is working and how people that have done it at the highest level really did it and how they viewed the whole situation. It gives you a lot of insight, and it's important that you pick up game from folks that have been in the industry, that have done it, that understand it, and that, you know, that's what you should use it like. You know, these connections you have with established people on social media, you pick up some game, ask some questions, like pick up some game from them. Don't just be trying to get the attention, man. Like, pick up the game, because they got game that can expose you to a lot of information and a lot of ideas and things that you don't know about. And I think that's more important than just having their attention on your beat. Let's see here. T. James Dean is asking me, have I looked into Slate Industries Raven? So I have messed with the Slate Raven a little bit. The Raven is cool, but I think I have the feeling, to be honest, that the technology won't live for a long time. I think it's great technology for the moment, but something about it feels like it is just momentary. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the stuff that it does right now, I think the type of touchscreens that we have available right now will actually improve. They'll improve with time. So what'll happen is we'll have some better touch technology, and the Raven, I think, will be in a place where, you know, if you bought one now, it'll be a little bit outdated, or, you know, it'll be missing some other things that maybe the next version of touchscreens will be able to do. And I think ultimately some people I've talked to are trying to use it more for, like, you know, the tactility of the faders and all this kind of stuff. And I think, you know, faders are faders, man. Like, if you want faders, they got some good stuff out here right now. They got like fader ports and all kinds of other tactile surfaces. A fader tactile surface will probably last you a bit longer than something that's like a touchscreen that's trying to emulate all that stuff. I think the batch commander concept is cool, but I think they're macros, and I think that there will be other software that will be able to do that as well. I'm not so convinced right now that anybody needs a Slate Raven, just from my personal experience. And this is just my opinion, guys. You know, you take that with a grain of salt. I know people that have it and use it, and I know other people that have it and don't use it. Like, it's just, you know, it depends on your workflow. And at the end of the day, I think if you're editing and stuff, you're probably not going to use a Slate Raven touchscreen to do a lot of like complex editing. I think key commands, you know, that's why they made the batch commander, but I think key commands, and also think that having like a good trackpad will probably be faster in some ways and a lot more ergonomic, because, you know, like with a touchscreen, you sitting up here doing this kind of thing. Like, I don't know if that's like really that realistic for hours of work. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, it's buffering a lot, guys. I'm not sure why it's buffering a lot on YouTube tonight. Like, I got to figure out what's the deal with that. Let's see here. What's your take on the stuff coming out from Bro Audio? This is Filthy Rich asking me that. Okay, I'm not hip to the stuff that's coming out from Bro Audio lately, man. Like, Bro Audio, I feel like makes really high-end gear. It's dope gear. I haven't seen what the latest is, so hit me, school me on it. I got to check it out. What should I be looking at? Let's see here. Okay, so Jay Troy says, so I love the ability to record live takes directly into Block's Wave and BM3. I'm trying to achieve the same thing. Is that possible? Hopefully BeatMakers, the squad, knows that. I don't know if you can do takes on BeatMaker 3 right now. I would hope so, but there might be something that comes in later, honestly. I didn't see anything that looked like takes in BeatMaker 3, but I didn't do a lot of like continuous looped audio recording either, so it may have it in there. Hopefully I get a chance to check that out later, but no, I didn't see that off the bat. And Jay Troy is also asking, do I have to record a take to pad and draw in MIDI notes, kind of like Machine? That's one thing killing my vibe on BeatMaker 3. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I hope not, man. I hope it's not like that, because that would suck. Let's see here. NB Media, independent or deal in 2017 and beyond? Music business, streaming, or sales? Okay, so independent or deal? Me, I'm independent all day. It's about control. This is a new day and age. You don't have to have some mommy or daddy, parent company telling you when to do stuff, how to do it, what's going to work best for your market, what's going to work best for your audience, your lane, your genre, all that kind of stuff, like somebody controlling when your stuff comes out, how it comes out, what it looks like, all this kind of stuff. And I think in today's climate, a lot of these labels are actually making use of the traction that an independent artist is able to get on their own anyhow, and they just like put more money behind it, and that's kind of how they're dealing with the most successful artists in this day and age. So for me, it's like if they're looking at how you do your business now because they don't understand how to do the business themselves, I'm like, what's the point? Why give them a piece of it in the beginning? Like, why even chase that? I think at a certain point, if you get your brand and your business to a certain level where you have the exposure and you have the fan base and you have the numbers, then you can come to a bigger company, but then it looks like more like a partnership at that point. It's like, hey, I got this business, this is how much we're doing here, and with your help, with you behind us, we can do even greater numbers. And it's a business, it's more of a business relationship and not just like, hey, I'm signed to this label. You want to do like a joint venture. You want to have like a label act like a venture capitalist. You don't want this whole like label that just takes care of you and has all this other stuff, and they're getting a cut of stuff and they're trying to figure out how to market you and if you're going to do well in certain markets and all that. Like you don't need that. Not today. Streaming is not going anywhere, guys. Free is not going anywhere. That's where we are. Free is it's the new way, and streaming and all of this stuff, like people don't care about owning music anymore. So I don't think you should worry about it too much. Like you might be able to sell music to like the most hardcore enthusiastic people, but for the most part, generally it's more convenient for people to just have access. Because anyhow, when somebody bought an album or anything else, they didn't have rights to the music in the sense that they own the music. All of a sudden they could do what they want to it. It was kind of like a license anyhow. Like you basically bought the physical copy and you had the ability to play it as much as you want, but you couldn't reproduce it. You couldn't, you could resell it at the same or greater value, but you couldn't reproduce it and resell it. You can only resell the physical copy that you own. So in a sense now it's like, well, why do I need to actually own this as opposed to just like renting access to a whole bunch of this stuff? Hey, what's going on, Uncle Mike? I see you up in here. I see you. That's my uncle in here. Yes, sir. Anyhow, Yeah, so why bother? You know, why bother with like buying at this point if you can get unlimited access? That's the mentality that a lot of music listeners have in this day and age. So, you know, I mean, you kind of gotta deal with that. And I think for artists today, a lot of it is about touring. You know, you get the music out there, you build the fan base, and then you go on tour and you get your money that way. That's how people are getting their money now, from touring. So, you know, that's where we are, guys. Like, I think you can't get around that. You're not going to get around this whole thing of it being about just getting the music out there and people listening to it. Like trying to like convince people that they should buy something that they really don't have any ownership of anyhow. Maybe it's not the move anymore. So that's how I feel about it. Figure out how to make the money off of the streaming. There is money off of streaming. It's less money than actual, you know, sales, direct sales. But I mean, I think you can have a model as an independent. You can have a model where, say, you have a stream version, and maybe you have some type of specialized version that is specific to people that are going to your website. Maybe you're giving them a different look or a different opportunity with your content, so that they're getting more than just access to the music, but they're getting maybe a concert or something unique that gives them more value proposition. Okay. That's what it is. You need to look at it from that perspective and not just look at it in terms of, I just got to sell records, because, you know, selling records, you have to have more value. Like records, we know now, don't have as much value because they're not physical. It's digital. It can be easily reproduced millions of times upon millions of times and sent out there. So I think you figure out what your fan base wants, and then you deliver content and value to them in the best way possible, whatever meets their expectations. But definitely, you're going to be dealing with a lot more performance, because live performance is not going anywhere. Live performance is just going to get stronger and stronger. So you got to have a good live performance game. You got to be willing to get out there and talk to the people and start pushing your music to the people and let them get, you know, up close and personal with you. You know, that's the name of the game today. Let's see here. Fourth quarter music. He says, I have a BeatMaker question. This is something that you and Marv for Beats may be able to answer. Okay, you got to ask the question. Let's see. When making tracks through BeatMaker, are you able to save as a WAV or MP3 file once your project is completed? Of course, yeah, you have export options in there. You definitely can export your project, man. You got a lot of export options. You can export stems and stuff like that from BeatMaker, or you can export like a mix down. You have both options. So yeah, definitely you can do that. DJ Jambone says, hey Jay, how do you think the new quantum satellite technology will improve things for a producer, such as for videos and networking or other around the world? Well, I mean, it's yet to be seen, man. Like I really haven't had a chance to like dig too deep into it. Like there's a lot of technology on the horizon right now that I'm really interested in. Like, for example, augmented reality and virtual reality. And I think those also have some potential to affect or impact the music community, especially the producer community. But it's so early right now that a lot of this stuff is not very mature. It's not mature enough where we can start getting it in and start using it. But it's promising. Like AR, I mean, just seeing like physical things in your environment could be interesting, because that could give you could potentially have an AR studio or a VR studio. So there's a lot of things that are on the horizon that are coming. But right now, I mean, how much can we make use of it? It's still yet to be seen. Like even 4K, I see guys doing 4K video right now. 4K, it's like, you know, it's great, but you know, a lot of people are watching on their devices right now. Like, what is 4K on a phone? It's only a couple of phones that really are producing 4K quality video right now that can actually look at 4K quality video. So it's like, you know, we rush to get a lot of technology, but then sometimes the technology ain't there yet. So I think, you know, let's wait for some of this stuff to get a little bit more mature so that we can use it. Because right now, I don't think a lot of this stuff is mature enough. Let's see here. Filthy Rich is saying, check out the Burrow B80 mothership 80 channel configurable ADDA interface. Okay, I'm gonna check that out. Check that out and see what that's about. Eric Gary says, what sites, if any, would you recommend to start generating income and to start getting a placement deal? Okay, I don't know what you mean by a placement deal. A placement deal, I think what you mean is just get a placement. Go to performing rights organization conferences, ASCAP Expo, and go to, like, you know, there's a lot of like different performing rights organizations, meetings and meetups and whatnot. You got to check, like, get out of I don't know what market you're in, but you may not have that in your market. Go to the major markets that have it, though. Like, you got to get out. If you're trying to get a placement, you got to meet people. You got to build relationships. It's not just about a website at that point. Generating income is a different thing. Generating income can happen in a lot of ways. If you're a producer, I did a video, guys. If you're a producer, if you guys are producers, I did a video a couple weeks ago now called Opportunities for Music Producers. I highly recommend you check that out because I talked about some of the most untapped opportunities for music producers right now to start generating income, and that is within the content domain. If you start looking at your music as content, you'll start to understand that there's a lot more opportunities besides you just selling beats and stuff like that. So check out that video. A lot of you guys slept on it. You know, I can see the views, so I know what's happening. A lot of you slept on it, but it's a lot of great information in there if you're trying to generate income as a music producer. Check out that video, Opportunities for Music Producers. It's on my YouTube channel right now. If you're watching this on IG, go check it out. It's long, but we talk about some stuff that a lot of people aren't talking about because, you know, I made my ebook, The Sound Mind, last year because I knew that the game had changed already and people needed the information to stay relevant as music producers because a lot of people are trying to sell beats right now. And like I said before, you know, the game is where an artist can make beats too. Like, you're not special because you make beats. So don't look at it that way. Music producers are special because they have a certain knack for the technical side and they understand that and they get a little bit deeper than the artist. The artist is a little bit more functional in terms of they're a bit more practical. They want to just put a record out, but a beat maker or a music producer, they're about the sound and they're about a lot of the technical aspects that are necessary to make good sound content anyhow. So if you start looking at your stuff as sound content, you've opened up another door that allows you to monetize your music as well. So, you know, get out there first of all. If you're trying to get placements, make connections. I talk about that in Sound Mind Sessions, my free 6-part video course on my website. So if you haven't already checked that out, go. There's going to be a link in the video description once this is over, or you can go directly to ultrawest.com and click at the top. There's going to be a link there, like on ultrawest.com. There's basically where you can just go right there and get access to the free 6-part video course. I talk about a lot of this stuff, how to get clients, the best music equipment to buy as a music producer. I talk about how to get mentorship and how to, you know, network like a professional. I talk about all this stuff in there. I talk about a lot of great information, so definitely check it out, ultrawest.com. I'll leave a link in the video description, and there's also going to be a link in my IG in my bio, so check that out. Let's see here. Yeah, check out the book too. If you haven't checked out the book, Sound Mind, on my website, ultrawest.com. Check out the book. The book is important, man. It's going to, like, if you haven't checked it out, you need to check it out because it's going to be like a survival guide, and you're gonna see as time progresses, you're going to see it's going to be a survival guide for a music producer. So if you haven't checked out my book, The Sound Mind, on my website, ultrawest.com, check out my book. It's an ebook, instant download. Go pick it up. It's a lot of great game in there, a lot of information that'll keep you in the game and keep you relevant if you're serious about making income. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, this ain't for everybody, but this is for people that are interested in that. Okay, so yeah, man, let's see. Any more questions up in here? Any more questions up in here? I kind of been, let me see. I got my IG folks. It looked like the YouTube was more popping in here, man. IG, y'all kind of sleeping over here a little bit. Push button, I see you up in here, man. But what's good? Biz776 says, I've downloaded BM3 or BeatMaker 3 twice, and I don't have the option for sample detect. I have grid and split, but no detect option. Have you or anyone else experienced this problem? Interestingly enough, I didn't check that yet. I did see that in somebody's video, though. I saw a kind of crazy video, man. Somebody was doing some sampling. I was like, what in the heck are you doing? Like, because I was like, this definitely has to have some type of detect mode. And it did have a detect mode in his version, at least, but he didn't use it. And he was doing some weird stuff with the sample slicing. I was like, boy, like, that's the most random sample slicing I had ever seen. Let me see here. So detect mode. So let's go in here, and then let's go slice mode. So there's auto slice, split, there's grid. Yeah. So whatever version Homeboy had, I don't see the detect mode in here either. I see, let's see if y'all can see that in there. There's auto slice and there's grid, but I don't see the detect mode. And maybe, you know, maybe you have to have a certain setup for that or whatever, but I definitely didn't see that in there. So interesting. Hopefully they do have a detect mode. Hopefully it's not just gonna be all manual. But yeah, Homeboy had a detect mode on his version. So let's see. Street Scores, have you found a cheaper interface for iOS? Yes. Good question. Man, good question. So look, I've been looking at a lot of interfaces for iOS. So here's the thing. If you're looking for an interface for iOS, class compliant is the move. Class compliant is the way that you can avoid having to get something that's specifically for iOS. Because I was looking at like the Apogee, the Quartet, and then the Duet, and then I start looking at the other ones like the RME, Babyface, and a couple of other ones that were iOS specific. But check. There's a lot of good stuff out there that is class compliant. Audient makes some cool stuff. So check out Audient. They make some really nice interfaces that are affordable. They're in the $300 range. They are class compliant and they're expandable. Like, let me see. There's a couple Audient. Let me see here. Let me get the model number for you. ID 14, ID 22. Those are some cool interfaces, guys. They have some pretty interesting features. They have, I think, Burr Brown converters, so those are pretty good converters. Class A mic pre's, JFET DIs. They're pretty lit, man. Pretty good stuff in there, man. So definitely check those out. Audient is probably the way I'm gonna go for mine, but you know, I'm pretty much sold on iOS. I just got to figure out this BeatMaker 3 thing, so I'm gonna continue working. But look, it's been fun. I got to get off now. It's been about an hour. We about to call it a night. I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. I love getting it in with y'all, man. If you haven't already done so, make sure that you check out ultrawest.com for my free 6-part video course entitled Sound Mind Sessions. Get it in. Like, it's no reason for you not to have the information. I see a lot of you guys ask information, and a lot of the information that you ask is actually in my free 6-part video course, and stuff that's outside of that is probably in the Sound Mind, guys. But anyhow, I appreciate y'all once again. We will do this again next week, next Sunday night, 9 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're not on the West, you're going to have to stay up later or watch it on the replay, man. But until next time, I just want to tell y'all, peace and God bless, for real.